Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Sweet. What's up, everybody? Give me a little thumbs up if you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. All right. I do this thing now with live streams where it's like I'm playing a show, and I try to see how much stuff I can leave till the last second to do. So I'm like 20 seconds left on the countdown, and that countdown is now like my own game with myself, where I'm running around like trying to grab bottles of water and set my drum up and do everything. It's the mild entertainment I give myself on these live stream days. So anyways, what is up? Big League Bourbon in the house. Give me a second, let me change that. I don't like the way that looks. I think I usually do this. Yeah, there we go. Big League Bourbon in the house. Says, looking forward to this Buckner's and Booker's revisit. Cheers. Cheers to you as well. Yeah, I have been looking forward to revisiting these. I've done some serious damage on this Buckner's, if that tells you anything. But the Booker's, I've only maybe had one or two other times since I posted that review. So we'll kind of see what happens today. Univ Poke says, woo. Sometimes, like, when you have a username like that, sometimes I just want to know your real name, because I feel like it's trying to say, like, the usernames, or, Daniel's is like Pesky7116 or something. It's like, sometimes I just want to know people's first names. It makes it easier. DC, what's up? Good to see you, man. I saw you were dealing with some power outage issues. The wind here was crazy last night. Sarah and I couldn't sleep. And I couldn't sleep because I was up watching the UFC fights. But anyways. Good afternoon. Just sitting here practicing some Beethoven 7 on this Sunday afternoon. Says Derek, I'm sure Cameron knows all about that temp part. Curious to see his thoughts on the Bookers. Never had it yet. Hey, man, so I emailed you back a little bit earlier. Good to see another musician in here, an Air Force horn player, for those of you who don't know Derek. So, yeah, Derek was asking me in an email about sort of a rating system and why I don't do that. And, I have a hard time doing the 1 through 10 or the letter grades or something like that. Maybe in the future I'll do that. But it's good to see you in here, Derek. And, yeah, I'm excited about this. Hendo, good to see you, man. You'll be in and out. Taylor, what's up? Good to see you as well. How you doing? Let's stop, pause real quick. Please hit the like button. Let's get some more people in here. Have a little early Sunday afternoon drink, for better or worse. For those of you on the West Coast, it's real early, so I'm sorry. All right, let's keep going down. JG in the house. Whiskey cheers. Good to see you. Sherry G. Good to see you as well. Hey, everybody. John T. Cheers all. My real name is Chris. Okay, Chris, I'm going to remember that. Just so, you know, Univpoke, it's like, I don't know. I'd rather say Chris. Evening from the UK. Only got the Bookers available here. Yeah, that Buckner is probably won't make it to the UK. Or maybe it will, but much later if they do another release, because it's pretty limited here. Richie Z, what's up? Mr. Whiskey Shits in the house. University of... Oh, really into Texas Hold'em poker. That makes a lot more sense. Doing well. Raining here in Georgia, so a good time. Yeah, absolutely. It's just a crappy day outside today here. I feel like it is everywhere. Cold temperatures, you know, all that kind of stuff. David, cheers. Oh, a t-shirt went on Curiosity Public. That's awesome. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm caught up in the chat here. So thank you all for joining. Yeah, like like the thumbnail says and the title of the video, today is just, to kind of drink. It's an excuse to drink a little early in the day. I'm a little alcoholed out at this point, so I think I'm going to not have a dry week, but a mostly dry week. I'll probably only be drinking on Thursday for my live stream, and maybe if I make another video or something. But I am just, palate fatigue, liver fatigue. I've got to kind of take it easy a little bit here. But today, we're going to be checking out the Booker's Donohoe's batch. I put a review of this out. I don't know if I liked it or didn't like it. I was just kind of swinging back and forth because this was changing day by day. I mean, I opened it up and it tasted like strawberry Pop-Tarts, basically. And when I did the video review, I mentioned that and I made note of how it had changed. But what I don't do with my videos is I don't read a bullet point list off and fake my way through the tasting. Like, I have my bullet points usually, but I taste through something, and if I don't get one of my bullet points, I don't say it, or I'll make a caveat and say, hey, I got this last time, but I'm not getting it today. And I think it's important to not just go through the motions on your review videos, even though you can do that, you can plan them out like that. So the Booker's on the review wasn't stellar, but when I first opened it, I thought it was a kick-ass batch. So we'll see today how it does. I love to do these Second Chance Sunday reviews. And then also, I put this video out. I'm sorry that video was very long. You can skip ahead to 8 minutes in and just watch the tasting. I apologize. But this Buckner's, this is 13-year-old cast strength single barrel Barton being sourced from a brand new distillery that is going to be completed this summer in Augusta, Kentucky. I loved this stuff on my review, and it has definitely changed since then. As you can see, I've been drinking a lot of it and sharing a little bit of it as well. So those are the two projects on the bourbon side of things for this live stream. And then I'm just trying to get through some freaking samples, guys. So I don't know if Lito is in here right now. I don't think I've seen him in the chat so far. But Lito Cortez sent over, maybe 8 samples or so that got here on Friday. And I'm going to taste through a couple of those. And then Keith Schmidt, who has sent me 26 samples at this point, I'll taste a couple of Keith's samples as well. Those are probably mostly going to be Scotch, but I do have some bourbons here. I have some cast strength rum as well. We'll just see where the wind takes us, But that's the plan for today. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button. Let's get a few more people in here. We got 15. Usually on these Sunday lives, you only get about 20 to 30 maximum. So 15 is not bad, but I'm about to switch over from coffee to bourbon as it goes, Okay. Good. Well, good to see all of you. Let me check out here. Who is hanging out? Let's see. Anybody lurking? Bourbon is in the house. Okay, I see you in the chat now. Little wine action. Okay. Awesome. So I haven't had any bourbon yet today. So I'm going to have to start with something. And then I think the first thing I'll taste will be the Booker's after that. So let's start with one of these samples and just get the palate going a little bit. I think that's important. I could start with a Parker's Heritage Heavy Char Rye, but I don't know if that's a great one to start with. Let's see. You know what? Why don't we start with a little Bullet Blender Select? Let's do that. This is an awesome sipping bourbon that I have Just discovered. I'm a little late to the party on it, but it's good to get my palate going. Eagle Rare usually for me is good to get my palate going. I like some of the lower proof things, little thinner mouth feel just to get acclimated and everything. Oh yeah, and the Bullet Blender Select is just delicious. Vanilla icing, light fruits, a little bit of oak on the back end, but it's sweet oak with some leather. It's good stuff. Oh yeah, really sweet. If you're sipping on something, let me know what you got. Taylor, what are you sipping on, man? Curious that you've got a great collection from what you and I have talked. It sounds like you got some good stuff there. Lone Wanderer, what is up? Howdy, good to see you. James Morgan says Parker's is one of the is expensive over here. Parker's is of off the charts expensive over here. I got you. Yeah, I've never had any Parker's Heritage. I just have this sample of the Heavy Char Rye from Keith Schmidt. He sent me some ridiculous samples. Nick Combs, what's up? Good to see you. Cheers. Just getting the palate started here with a little Bullet Blender Select. All right. Well, let's pour this Booker's and let's get this show on the road. Oh. Give me a sec, guys. Looks like I'm having a camera issue. Sorry, y'all. I think you can still hear me. But my camera is, don't know what's going on here. Hang on. There we go. What the heck? Wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, there we go. Covering up. No, I don't know. On the Thursday live stream that we did, YouTube crashed. Like after the first hour, it crashed. So that's I've been having some technical things go on, I guess, but I don't know why my camera did that. Nothing came unplugged. I'm totally stationary right now, so who knows? Anyways, let's get the show on the road. Let's get a little Booker's going. All right. So for those of you who have not seen my first review of this or don't know, much about the bottle here, this is a 62.65% batch of Booker's, which is, I believe, just slightly lower than all three 2020 batches by like a tenth or 2/10. But the age here is older than all of the 2020 batches. This is 6 years, 11 months on this Booker's. So it's the oldest Booker's of the last year at least by a few months. Which gives me a little hope that maybe we're getting some better stocks, older stocks, that kind of thing. Taylor says, still thinking about it, maybe the SE4PR5. Good for you, man. I can't get into makers. I don't know what it is. After last night, I'm just drinking water today. Probably that's a good plan. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to make that happen. Derek says, one good thing about being in the military is that the shops on base usually carry some good bourbon, no tax, and all at retail. The pilots snatch it up. That's funny. Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures of military base stores, whatever you would call those, and I've seen shelves of Elijah Craig barrel proof, like, 60, 70 bottles it looks like. It's pretty cool to see all that. All right, so let's check this Booker's out. A little bit faint on the nose right now. I might just have to sip it up front. I mean, I'm getting a faint peanut smell, as you would expect. It does smell sweet, though. This Booker's is not crazy dry. It's got a nice sweet smell to it, which is what I remember when I first opened the bottle. Yeah, and some oak presence. Again, I appreciate that with such a young bourbon. Let's have a sip, and we'll come back to the nose. Oh, yeah. Immediately, it just like grips your palate, Starts taking all the moisture out. Wow. This is a lot more baking spice heavy than I remembered from the first time that I tried it. I'm also getting a little bit of baked apple pie notes to go along with the baking spices. Yeah, definitely that faint peanut note. But for me, this one is not overbearingly nutty. I've seen other reviews come out of this one calling it the same thing like a peanut bomb or a Texas Roadhouse barrel or whatever. I don't think that's the case with this. I mean, I think it's there, but it's not like Granny's batch. It's I think it might even be a little less nutty than pigskin, to be honest, but I don't know. But it seems like a lot of the sweet strawberry notes I was getting, candied strawberry at the beginning of this, I'm not getting so much of those anymore. And I would have expected a bottle like this to open up maybe more into those sweet flavors, but right now it's almost like the baking spices have taken over in the couple weeks that it's been open. Yeah, DC, you're right, man. 89 subs away from 1K, and all I need is like 200 more watch hours, that's pretty easy to get this week. My goal is by Thursday to hit all of the milestones to get monetized. And I will tell you all right now, I'm going to be dropping a video every day from now until Thursday. I'm going to be dropping a lot of content. I have 4 of them recorded and all of them somewhat edited. So in a couple of hours, I'm dropping a video after this stream. And then I'm just going to be cranking them out this week. And hopefully on Thursday, we can kind of celebrate hitting that milestone. Even though I won't probably be approved for monetization, that usually takes a week or two to get approved. I will at least hit the milestones by Thursday, and I'm thinking I'm going to have a couple of pretty solid giveaways. Some Sam Houston, some Larceny Store picks, some other bottles, sample packs with the entire Bardstown Discovery line, all that kind of stuff. So as long as we hit that stuff by Thursday, if there's anything you all can do, sharing any of the videos or posting in the Bourbon Junkies group or whatever, that would help so much to kind of to get the things going, get up to 1,000 and hit the watch hours. So James says, love the PXs in Europe. Not sure what you're referring to. Joel says, ECBPA 121 in the glass after a first try of Sazerac. Yeah, that is very different. Very anise, licorice heavy. Any thoughts? Yeah, so for me, the Saz Rye, if you're talking about the 6-year-old, the average bottling, that one is just a licorice bomb for me. And I could pull it out maybe at the end of the stream and have a little sip or something. I like it in the summer actually a lot. I think it's kind of refreshing, even though it's spicier. But yeah, for me, it's like a mood pour, or it's great in a cocktail. So Chris says, because of your 2020 Whiskey Awards, I've been hunting for a cigar blend. I got lucky to find one. Oh, nice. Crazy cheap. How much did you pay for that? That's amazing if you got one. Very, very cool. Bourbon says, game on. Getting people to 1K is my game. Let's make it happen, man. That's awesome. I would really appreciate any help you can give me, I'll keep watching your releases. Wish I could subscribe twice. That's hilarious. Thanks, Joel. Oh, PX is what you call the shops on military bases. Okay. Good info there. Yeah, this thing is getting sweeter. There's still a little ethanol punch to it. I've got to say, this Booker's to me it's just getting more average as time goes on, unfortunately. It's a little bit disappointing because when I opened it, I had such hope for this. I think the oak profile is pretty good still, but the baking spices have just taken over this batch to the point that it's just kind of out of balance. All right, another sip. Wow, it's intense. I tell you what. Okay, there I started to get a little bit of cherry/strawberry with those baked apple notes, the baking spices. Again, the peanut in the background. I like the amount of peanut on this Booker's batch. I think it's in balance, and I do appreciate that. I just added a little water, and then I choked on it. Dang, that's embarrassing. Let's have another camera malfunction. Anyways, back to the Bookers. Added a little bit of water, and let's see what happens now. Oh yeah, definitely sweetened up. Yeah, I think the water is actually the way to go on this batch. Derek, yeah, man. That was bad. I'm beet red now. I might have added just a little bit too much water to this. I think water is the way to go on this Booker's batch. That opened up the fruity notes that I was getting when I first tasted this, when I cracked it open. and it tames the baking spice, but it still has enough of a spice characteristic that the finish is, I mean, the finish is still going. It's still lingering and developing at this point. All that pepper and baking spice. So for me, if I had to grade this, Derek, you know, for you or for anybody else who would want me to actually give a grade to this, to me, this is just a solid B or like a B minus whiskey. Still not a standout Booker's batch. It's a toss up between this and Pigskin for me. I like Pigskin quite a bit for last year, and I would like to revisit Boston batch sometime soon. But overall, with the increasing price of Booker's, if it's 80 and up in your area, which it probably is, I don't think I'd pick this thing up, you know. It's honestly worth it to me a little bit to pay a slight upcharge. I hate to say this, but if you can find an older batch on secondary for like a reasonable price, instead of buying the next two Booker's releases, I would just buy one older batch. You know, I'm talking like Kitchen Table, the 15 batches, Big Man Small Batch, Mama's Batch, anything like that. I'd rather have one of those than two of these average releases. So you might hate me for talking about buying on secondary, but that's kind of the way I see it. You're never going to see those bottles again, so you have to go to the secondary market for those. But yeah, this one, it's kind of one of these at this point, so that sucks. Taylor, you're right. I would go ECBP all day. I mean, I had hope for this Booker's, but here we are. Matt Porter in the house. What's up? I mean, Ariana Grande is in the house. Matt, you got to jump on and sing me another song, man. That was hilarious. Chris says, how many batches are there? I don't know. I think we're in the high 30s at this point, mid to high 30s. So I think you've got one of the more recent batches. And I know nothing about batch 34. So I apologize. Bourbon Claus says, subscribe to AM. Belmead Reserve in Ohio getting slim. Yes, it is. Oh, but I mean, if you found it in Ohio for 60, that's an easy buy for sure. Oh, yeah. I don't know about all that. Good notes. I think we're paying pre-tariff in the stock. Thanks. Yeah. Speaking of tariffs, I saw that the Scotch tariffs are going away or have gone away. So I'll be curious to see what happens on the prices of Scotch right now. Yeah. Overall, I'm gonna have my last sip of this Booker's, but I don't know. Yeah, add a little bit of water if you have this batch. You'll see that it opens up and it gets a little bit sweeter and fruitier. But I don't know. I might be breaking up with Booker's. I might be passing on the next release here. I don't know. Yeah, Kitchen Table. That's one of my favorite batches. I think Kitchen Table is phenomenal. Really, really good. All right, let me get organized. Let's move on to the Augusta, the $200 wonder. I took this over to a buddy's house yesterday. His name's Frank here in Columbus. Frank and I become good friends through trading samples and bottles and just hanging out and drinking outside on his back porch. And we tried a lot of good stuff yesterday. A lot of great Scotch, some interesting independent bottlings of Brookladdy and different things. But I busted out the Augusta, and we both agreed last night, after a couple of pours, or 5 or 6 or 7, that this was some really good stuff. But we were outside, and my nose gets a little wonky when I'm drinking outside. So I do want to revisit it today, kind of give a conclusion on this, because when I made my first video about the Augusta, I thought this was a great whiskey. I know it's $200, but anyways, let's pour some and see what happens. Okay, I see a question about the maker's wood finishing release from Bourbon Claus. Yeah, I want to say that I've seen people picking this up, but maybe I'm thinking of the community batch, and maybe I actually haven't seen the FAE01 yet in Ohio. I'm not sure. I haven't been out hunting in months, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I don't know. And when RC6 or not RC6, when SE4PR5 came out, I was hunting at the time and I didn't see that ever. So I don't know. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in here. Cheers. Matt Porter in the freaking house. Yes, he is. Maybe not anymore. I don't know. Aiden Craig is in here. Good to see you, Aiden. Working hard. Thank you so much. It was a fun stream the other night while it lasted before the internet died or YouTube died or whatever. All right, so quick rundown for those of you who don't know this bottle. The Augusta Buckner's is 13-year-old single barrel sourced Barton. All right, so we got that 74 18-8 mash bill. I tend to like a lot of that stuff. I love the sourced Barton, even though it is expensive. I think it's really solid, and especially when you get someone who knows how to blend it, or if you get someone picking good barrels, such as this Augusta single barrel. Now, I actually reached out to the distillery just this week, and it seems like I'm probably going to be making a trip down there as everything is under construction to meet the founders of the distillery, to talk to them, and then probably get them on a live stream. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully we can make that happen in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, $200 MSRP. People in Ohio flipped out. Nobody knows if they should buy this or not. I've had a couple people buy it because I said, hey, it's actually pretty good if you want to spend the money. And all of them have been happy with their purchase. That makes me feel good. But I don't want anybody to spend $200 because I said so. So take everything with a grain of salt, please. Yeah, $200, 200 smackaroos. So is Matt Porter still the world's greatest bourbon taster? He's the world's top whiskey taster. Yeah, he's the OG, the first edition, you know. I think they're going to do the competition again, but Matt will always be number one, you know. Is there a better person than Matt Porter? Honestly, come on. Oh, this is just, it's so rich on the nose here. When I first got this and nosed it on my review video, it was really, really alcohol forward, really spicy on the nose, like way over its proof. It's about 61%. It was nosing like a 65 to 67%. That has dissipated. This is way more in check, more in balance with the oxidation, getting it over the shoulder here, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's still a dry woodiness at the bottom end of this. There's funky oak, there's mustiness, there's leather, but there's also dry woodiness, almost like the kind of dry wood that you get on an Old Forester barrel strength store pick. It reminds me of that a little bit. There's that amazing Dr. Pepper spice that I kind of got on the initial review that is still very much here. There's some great barrel char notes. Very deep, very rich. Little bit of that dark cherry, dry dark fruits. Excuse me. I can hear Matt's voice. I can hear that in my head right now. The way he would say that. Oh, I love it. That is hilarious. Bring me the pappy. I need to get one of those shirts. Everybody's piling on to Matt. Come on, guys. Take it easy. I'm going to have a sip here. Oh, wow. So good. Oh, my God, and the spice. Hang on, I got to just process this. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Wow. Okay, so yeah, my two complaints about this bourbon up front, whenever I made that video a week or two ago. My first complaint was that it was too alcohol forward off the neck pour. Grain of salt with that, obviously. The other thing was that the finish was bitter. The bitter finish is gone. I mean, this is all just intense flavor, intense Dr. Pepper spice, and the palate development is unbelievable. So this hits you up front, and it just, like, it hits you up front and it tastes great. It's got those really dark aged, dark fruit bourbon notes, that kind of thing going on. And then it just ramps up and up and up and up the entire time. Into the finish, it does not stop crescendoing with spice, with flavor. The finish right now is actually, well, it's lingering, but it's a little shorter than you would think with how the development happens. It cuts off a just, God, 10% too soon, I guess. that's so that's so nitpicky, you know. This thing is just really really good. I hate to say that. I hate to like a $200 bourbon, but it's really really good. And you go back to the nose and everything starts to open up once your palate acclimates. This is, I mean, it's a unique bourbon, right? I've seen some people compare it to Stag Junior. That's not an apt comparison. I can see why you would say that. Number one, because it's in the exact same bottle as Stag Junior. So psychologically, that you just go there. And yes, it does have some dark fruit, some cherry notes, maybe some grape notes like you might get in a Stag Junior. It's not sweet like that, though. It's a completely different ball game if you know that Barton profile from their aged stuff. It's really great. Joel says Matt is entertaining and most importantly has a great palate. Yes, absolutely. With that said, pinprick into blowing up the head. That's funny. I think if Matt is still here, he would agree that he is just playing around when he makes all the world's top whiskey taster jokes. You know, like he's just making fun and having a good time. But also Matt is the world's top whiskey taster, so I mean, what can we say to that? You know what I mean? Derek says state of Virginia is having a lottery drawing for 2 bottles of 23, 100 bottles of 20, 100 to 15. Good luck with that. Yeah, Ohio, we had 1,000 bottles of Pappy and BTAC combined, 1,000 and 100,000 entries. So yeah, that's not great. Good luck. Yeah. You know what? If you're looking for a specialty bottle and this is in your area and it is $200 and you want if you go out and say I know I'm going to spend $200 right now and I want something that's really really good, aged, intense, blah blah blah, instead of going for I don't know what else is in that price range. I'm not even sure. Like I mean Kentucky Owl's good, Old Carter's good. I love all that stuff. But I really like this. And the profile here, because it's a single barrel, while it doesn't have these waves of light and dark, and it doesn't have like this constructed or nuanced development where somebody has like really put thought into how they've blended it, this one just has a singular profile that continues and amplifies the entire way through. And in a lot of ways, I like that better for whatever reason. I mean, I love the Bardstown Discovery stuff, but a lot of that has just segments of things or different ideas in the palette that you can tell, like there's the Barton juice, there's the 10-year stuff that they put in there, you know, there's whatever, and you can pick it out. This is much more cohesive because it is a single barrel. And I could just have a great barrel, but dang, I like it, guys. I like it. You jumping in? All right, man, I'll send you the link. Let's do this thing. Here, Matt, let me, oh geez, what's the best way to send it to you, Matt? I'll copy the StreamYard link right here. And let's see. I don't know if I have your email, Matt. What can I do here? Let's see. Sorry, guys. Give me just like 2 seconds here. Maybe I can send it to you on Instagram, Matt. Let's do that. All right. Quick pause in the action. Sorry, y'all. Matt, I am sending you the link on my Instagram from my personal Instagram. There you go. So Bourbon, the source on the Augusta Buckners is Barton. So they don't disclose that, but they disclose the mash bill, 74188. So it is absolutely 100% Barton. Guys, I think we're about to get the world's top whiskey taster in the house. I think so. Oh, man. Now, I will say, after a couple sips of the Augusta, what happens is your palate acclimates quickly to this, and the mouthfeel does diminish a bit. Like, the Booker's stays intense that batch, the Donohoe's batch, it stays intense every sip. This one does acclimate quickly, and then you feel like, is this a thin mouth feel? I don't think it is. I think you just need to rinse it in your mouth a little bit more instead of just taking sips. Because once you rinse it around a little bit after the third or fourth sip, it maintains that intense spiciness. But if you don't do that, it does die off just a bit. So I know that's pretty specific, but I think it's important to note. The old mouthwash, you know. It does have a little bit of that Barton banana. But like I say, with older Barton stuff, the banana note, when you get to a certain age, to me, turns into a furniture polish note, like a mixture of furniture polish and banana. And I've noticed that with the Sam Houston and some other things. But the final thing I'll say on this is when you look at the market of NDP Barton bottlings, I think Blue Run is Barton. That's 170. Cream of Kentucky is definitely Barton. That's 150. Bardstown sources a lot of Barton stuff. At least they used to with their Discovery series. That stuff is 130. When you look at that market of older Barton juice, none of it is cast strength and unfiltered, I don't believe. Typically, it's proof down. So when you go up the ladder of proof, you also go up the ladder of price with the sourced Barton. And at the very end of that is this at $200. So I think it's fine. Oh, look who it is. What's up, man?
I'm sitting outside of a liquor store, actually. But I'm going grocery shopping for the family for the week. And I'm listening to you while I'm driving, obviously. Then I hear all this BS. Who the hell? Wait a minute. I'm not in chat. I can't see. Who the hell is this guy talking about me having a big head?
Let's see. Let me find who it is. I think it's Joel Bowman.
Ugh. Yeah. Joel. Yeah.
Let me find. There was something earlier too.
Another thing?
I thought maybe not. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe there's more people talking shit, Matt.
I'm so mad right now. All I do every day, I wake up in the morning, I wipe butts. I make food. I'm a snack bitch for my children. That's all I do. Sorry for swearing on your stream. I'm so sorry.
No, please do.
Am I the world's best whiskey taster? No. Obviously, I'm not. I've lost 1,000 times to people on the internet all the time. Did I win a competition? Yeah, so what? I beat 400 other people. Who cares? Easily. But other than that, a big head? I'm just trying to have fun with it. That's all. Don't poke my belly, though. That's definitely a thing that would go drastically wrong. Poke my head all you want. I can't grow. Man. There's a lot of room to grow up here. Not so much down there, though. Joel.
Oh, man. I think that's hilarious.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. What is it?
I'm sitting here in the parking lot, and someone just walked out with all the pappy. Joel.
Dude, go out. Come on. Run them over, man.
3 cases of pappy right in front of me.
You'll get 30 tater points if you run them over and steal their pappy.
I think it was actually Busch Light. That's fine too, though.
It's just a case of proper 12, you know. Actually, hey, did you watch the fights last? I know you're an MMA guy, right?
Actually, this is I actually rented the fight last night.
So,
which is the first time in a long time.
I'm gonna do a review of this stuff. You know, Bruce's whiskey, Bruce Buffer. Buffer.
I did not know he had a whiskey.
Oh yeah, man. So it's $30. I just picked it up because I was like, I saw a review of Proper 12 from like a long time ago when it came out, and someone got like 750,000 views. And I was like, and it was like a shitty review. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't produced or anything like that. It was like a dude and just like an iPhone camera.
I think it was the whiskey dick. Wasn't it the whiskey dick?
No, it was a different one. But
he had a big Proper 12 video too, I think.
Did he? So yeah. I was like, I'm going to sample Bruce's voice and try to cover it up with some other noises so I don't get copyrighted. And I'm going to try to do a review of this. And actually, this is not as bad as I thought it would be, I will say.
I will. Okay, listen very closely. I love Bruce Buffer. I kind of do. He's a bit of an egomaniac.
Uh-huh.
If you've ever listened to his interviews, he's a man who will find his reviews online, and if he finds out you're sampling him in any sort of way,
Oh, he's gonna go crazy.
oh my god, he is like he talks about how he has the It's Time copyright, like he owns the rights to that. Nobody else can say it. And his brother, Michael Buffer,
Yeah.
Let's Get Ready to Rumble. He talks about how he was the one to convince him to make that thing where nobody else can say those words.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't put his voice in that video one bit, unless you want to feel the wrath.
That's hilarious. Well, what I was thinking is like, I wouldn't take it off a UFC broadcast. I was thinking, what if I took it off, like John Anik posted something on Instagram with Bruce just like saying something. I was like, what if I took it off of Insta? Is that still going to be like, I don't know. you know, I was going to put like sampled clapping behind it so that it's covered up
Right.
a little bit. But I don't know, man. I just thought it would be funny. But either way, like, I think this is better for bourbon than what Proper 12 is for Irish. Although I hate to say it, I'll drink Proper 12 on ice.
I don't. Mine sat in the trunk of my Corolla for like 16 months, and it's not bad anymore. It's actually pretty good. Don't
Like,
mind it.
it tastes like wood chips and like turpentine and shit. But like, honestly, I would. Yeah, yeah. Like, I'll
I didn't
drink
know
it.
I didn't know that Bruce Buffer had a bourbon though.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too. You know about the IJW stuff, like the rick houses that were built.
Mm-mm.
There's like a company, you know, Bardstown is obviously doing like contract distilling,
Yeah.
and you know they use their rick houses and store people's stuff there. But IJW is not going to be distilling. They're just building a ton of rick houses in the like outback of Wilderness Trail,
Okay.
and they're just like charging money to be a middleman. So they're storing stuff, also buying stuff, and then selling it to other brands. So I think this Puncher's Chance is IJW sourced, but this goes through a distillery in Oregon who has bought it. And I think that the origin is Wilderness Trail. It's like this whole line of things.
Wow.
So it's kind of weird, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Huh. I'll have to. I think it's time for me to try it, or something.
I think so. Anyways, man, dude, it's so good.
Well,
Thanks for popping on.
I'm so sorry to just do that. You know what? Oh my gosh! I just realized something. What's his name again? Joel?
Yeah, Joel, let me see. He says, I gave you credit, Matt. Come on, I wipe butts and make food for wee bits too.
Okay. But I have to apologize too because Joel was right. What type of an egomaniac would just like jump on somebody's stream and take over? like without even I just was like, send me the link. Because I feel like
you had to defend
God.
your honor, man. It's your honor, you know?
I think that I have some exploring to do inside of me. Because that just proved it.
Go do some hot yoga and meditate.
I'm already heated up. A little bit of friction. But yeah, I'm so sorry. You know what? This is dead serious honest. You've earned a credit towards any live stream of mine where you're like, send me the link and you're in. You've earned it. Because,
oh man, I'm gonna make it inconvenient. I'm gonna make it so bad.
Good. Anytime, any single one. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If you're like, send me the link,
that's it.
You get in. You're in.
All right, you guys, you heard it here, everybody. All right, man. I'll see you, dude.
Bye.
Matt friggin' Porter, what a guy! Oh my gosh, so cool of him to jump on. But you guys heard that. I get a free coupon on any of his live streams. So whenever it's the least convenient, the most inconvenient, I am going to jump on his live stream. I'm just kidding. This was not inconvenient at all. He made the show. I needed something, some sort of boost here. I was floundering with my Augusta review. All right. Sorry, I missed all of you in the chat. Goodness. James says, we are honored. Yeah, I'm freaking honored that he would jump on. Joel says, dang it, here we go with another search for a pricey bottle. Thanks for the heads up. Take it or leave it. Don't buy two at a time, you know, but if you're willing to drop that kind of money and it fits into your budget and your lifestyle, I don't think it's a bad choice. I like it. I would love to see it at 150. We could say that about just about any expensive whiskey. We could knock 25% off and say, I'd love to see it at that price, and that's fine. But I think this stuff, you know, at 150, I would buy two of them. Honestly. And Joel, yeah, Joel, I think that was hilarious. I hope everybody's cool here. I hope nobody takes that too seriously. Big head means big brain. I'm driving home. I pulled over to give Matt his proper due. That's hilarious. Yeah, Taylor, heat treating on the proper 12 from the trunk. Absolutely. Trev, what's up, man? How are you doing on this Sunday? Good to see you. Bubble Bath says, "Damn it, YouTube didn't notify me again." I don't know what's going on. I mean, I only made this live stream a couple of hours ago, like the, scheduling for it. So maybe I should schedule these a day in advance instead. I'm not sure, but Derek says, "You know what the worst is? Having a drink or two too many, and then the baby wakes up at 2 a.m. Oh, I can't imagine that. We don't have kids. Me and my fiance, I think one of these days in a few years, we probably will, after we get married, which honestly, at this point with COVID, might be at the courthouse. Like, we don't even know what we're going to do. But yeah, Joel says, "All seriousness, full appreciation for you guys, Matt included. Much love." Absolutely. Yeah, it's all love. And I think we all like to kind of razz each other a little bit. So let's see. Awesome. Oh, James says celebrity bourbons have a seriously bad record, and Matt loves the attention. Celebrity bourbons do have a bad record, absolutely. But this Puncher's Chance, if you guys have it in your area at $30, to me, it's not a great spring whiskey. This is a whiskey that if you threw over ice in the summer, like, I would drink this. Absolutely. Like at the pool or whatever you're doing, sitting out on your back patio when it's like 85, 90 degrees and you kind of want something refreshing. I think this is a solid choice. So I'm going to be reviewing that either this week or next week at the absolute latest and posting a video. So, okay, I think I'm caught up here in the chat. I love this. Send me the damn link. That is hilarious. Matt's presence will put you over 1K. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to invite people on and use them just for that. Obviously, that's kind of crappy. But I am going to be doing a lot more collaborations starting in April, so I'm stoked about that. I've talked to Adriana from Whiskey Mountains. We're going to make something happen. Obviously, I'm going to try to have the people from Augusta Distillery on here and talk to them about their plan and talk about the pricing on this bottle and I would love to get into the weeds with them about what it's like to start up a distillery like that, and what their thoughts are moving forward. But yeah, more collaborations definitely in the future. And again, we're getting close to 1K. We're getting close to 4,000 watch hours. Anything you all can do to share a video, Bourbon Junkies group, any of the whiskey groups, I would appreciate it so much. It means a lot to me. Jay says 912 subs now. That's amazing. Trev says, "I survived." Was that from you survived? What did you survive? I've been off a whiskey tube for the last week or two, unfortunately. So if it was a whiskey tube thing, I'm sorry. I wasn't there. Not really. We're going to keep going. I'm going to drink some samples now. Stick around if you got to go somewhere. I know it's a Sunday. A lot of people spending time with family. I totally understand. But if you are hanging out, let's have a little, a little sippy sip, a couple extra drinks, and then we'll get off here. Please hit the like button. Let's get some more people in here. Show some love to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. That would help so much. Thank you all so much. Derek, I've never tried Ironclad. No, I have not. If it's a Texas whiskey, I don't think that's what you're saying necessarily. But if it is a Texas whiskey, I don't have a lot of experience with that. That's something I want to get more into. Ironclad, not Iron Root. I didn't know there was an Ironclad, but if there is, no, I haven't had it. I've had the Iron Root Harbinger, but it was Jason Calori's personal blend of that. So that was a lot better than I think the standard bottling. Don't remember anything from Chris's stream after I poured the Alberta cast strength. Well, the Alberta will do that to you. Absolutely. Okay, let me clear out this glass here. I have a bunch of glasses behind me, but if I can avoid doing more dishes than I have to, that's always a good thing, Let's do a little shot of water. Stay hydrated. Bubble Bath says, get with Whiskey Crusaders. He'll send you like 500 samples. Yeah, I saw who I don't remember who it was this week that got the mad sample pack, but I want to link up with the Whiskey Crusaders because I think that would be hilarious when I see them send 17, 24, however many samples to people. I think it's just it's a riot. Ironclad is craft whiskey from Virginia, Whiskey Vault. Yeah, you're talking about Whiskey Vault. Okay, yeah, I've never had any Ironclad stuff, so I'd be curious to try that. All right, what are we doing next? Let's see. I wish Lito was here because I want to drink a lot of Lito samples, but I don't want to do it when he's not here, So let's go on to something now. Let's see. I got the Parker's Heritage is interesting. I have a Booker's Kentucky Chew sample. What do you guys think about Kentucky Chew? Is that a pretty good batch of Booker's? 2018-03. I think that's the one before Kitchen Table. Let me know what you think about that. Oh, Lito. What's up, man? Perfect timing. Okay, well, I'm going to drink some of your samples then. Let's make it happen. Okay, so Lito sent the Booker's Kentucky Chew, which I could do next. Or if we want to transition to Scotch, I can also do that. I have a Redbreast 21. Obviously, that's not Scotch. I have a Dewar's 27, which is interesting. I tend to like, I believe Aberfeldy goes into the Dewar's blends, and I tend to like Aberfeldy, especially the 21 year. Taylor says yes, and I think you're saying that Kentucky Chew is a good batch. I continue the same sample pack I sent the Bourbon. Dude, I'll collab with Trev any day of the week. I feel like I don't want to take too much of Trev's shine. I know he does his thing, and I've been on his channel and just hanging out with him a lot, and I feel like I don't want to overimpose on that or anything. But if Trev is into it, I am so into it because it's fun to get on with Trev. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, so I've got a Dewar's 27, a Redbreast 21, a Port Charlotte 10 year. That's peated, so I'm going to have to end with something like that. I have a Swedish whiskey, which I can't pronounce. Mackmyra Kungstorv. And then I have this Japanese new make, heavily peated, which is very interesting. Lito, what do you think? I know you're here. What do you think I should have next? Or the Balconis Texas Rum, 64%. That's very high proof. I could also do the Kentucky Chew next. So does anybody have any thoughts on Dewar's 27, Redbreast 21, Port Charlotte, Kentucky Chew, Balconis Cast Strength Rum? I also have some stuff here from Keith Schmidt that I could do beforehand, some Cavalon. Swiss and Japanese. Yeah. Lito says go with the Bookers. All right, let's do it. Let's go Kentucky Chew. I did my my Booker's flight last month, I think, or I don't know, weeks ago. There was 9 different Bookers in a bracket, and I did not have Kentucky Chew at that time. Trey says Bookers. All right, guys, we're doing the Bookers. I didn't have Kentucky Chew in that bracket. I think all the 2015 batches ended up basically winning out, and Kitchen Table was right up there with it, which is a 2018 batch, just like Kentucky Chew. So, smells nice and sweet. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take a sip first. Whoa, whoa, that is intense. Holy crap! What's the proof? 63.35. So it's like 0.5% above Donohoe's batch. Let's do a comparison. Why not? Let's compare it next to Donohoe's batch. I think that'll be cool. Just to see how these things stack up. Taylor says Kentucky Chew is my favorite batch. Okay. Well, dang. When people tell me that, I'm always like, I hope I like it, Like, I hope it's like, oh, no, this batch sucks, and then I feel like a total idiot. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Cool. So I got the Donohoe's and the Kentucky Chew now next to each other. Here's Donohoe's on this, or sorry, Kentucky Chew and Donohoe's over here. Huh. Kentucky Chew is definitely more like present on the nose. The Donohoe's, I think I mentioned earlier, is kind of closed off. Yeah, it's kind of closed off and spicy. And the Kentucky Chew, oh yeah, that's like jumping out of the glass, and it's very sweet. Oh man. And Donohoe's has more ethanol. It's more ethanol forward, where the Kentucky Chew seems to have enough flavor to substantiate the alcohol punch. You know what I mean? It's got a little less of the neutral grain thing going on. Ooh, I'm getting some like, I don't know, and tell me if I'm crazy. Right now I'm getting like cherry pie notes from Kentucky Chew. Really sweet, like cane sugar, sugar in the raw type notes. Yeah, a lot more fruit on this. Maybe apple as well. Donohoe's. It's just like all baking spice on the Donohoe's. So let me try the Kentucky Chew again. Man, it's so high proof. I might have to put a little water in that. When you drink the Kentucky Chew, you can just tell it's like this is a good whiskey. Even though the flavors are a little bit covered up by the alcohol right now. Oh, wow. The finish is great. You can tell it's a good whiskey as soon as it hits your mouth. Oh, the oak and the leather on the back end of that is incredible. Okay, let's go back to Donohoe's. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Donohoe's is just young tasting because of the baking spice. It's just sharp. Imagine like a ninja star in your mouth. You know what I mean? Sometimes when I drink whiskey, I think about shapes. Like, what would be the shape of this whiskey when you taste it? And I know that sounds just absolutely stupid. But if it's something that pops you up front and hits you really hard and then develops, sometimes I think of like a triangle. You know, like you're at the tip of the triangle and then it kind of spreads out. Sometimes I think of almost like something that's kind of rounded on the front end, like a sort of a half circle shape. If it's just sort of like, if it just develops slowly and there's not a lot of rough edges on it. I know that might be so stupid and sounds a little like synesthesia. I don't have that or anything, but the Donohoe's batch is like a friggin' ninja star in your mouth. Bubble Bat says, "I make sense, and I'm not even on acid right now." Yeah, exactly right. But this Kentucky Chew is much more well-rounded. Yeah, just amazing sweet caramel notes in that. You know, with the perfect amount of spice integrated, a great amount of light fruit going on. The cherry pie notes are present for me. As far as peanuts, I haven't even noticed any. Kentucky Chew might have some nuttiness, but it's not like the current day batches. And then in the finish, tastes like an older whiskey than it is. It finishes very nice. It lingers. I can see why you guys like Kentucky Chew. This is some good stuff. Donohoe's is looking worse and worse these days. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Taylor, you're right. It's hard to pick out the fruits at this high proof, honestly. It just kind of blends together. Like I said, I get this cherry and apple, but there's also something else in there that I can't quite pinpoint. Let me add some water for the heck of it. Let's just do it. All right. Let's add a little bit to the Donohoe's just for kicks. I know I already did this earlier. Jay says, synesthesia is big words. I am more of a ninja star triangle guy. Kitchen table is just a straight vanilla bomb. That's interesting. I don't know if I have any more of my sample left. I'd have to go check. And that would be hard to dig that out right now. I would be digging through a lot of samples at this point. All right. Got to get some more water up in here. Lito says, for reference, that Kentucky Chew sample came from a bottle that is about a third of the way down. Okay, so I mean, that's kind of like the perfect amount, probably, of oxidation, it seems like. All right, so water has been added. This will be the final Bookers of today, and then I'm going to move to a couple of scotches, and we're going to call it a day, and then I'm going to get back to editing videos and get a new video out by the end of the night. This is the Kentucky, and this is the Donohoes. Yeah, the Donohoes is just all baking spice and burnt toast and pie crust, which sounds good for the pie crust, but it's just too much of that. Wow. The fruit opens up on the Kentucky Chew with water. Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. That's a great batch. Yep, Donohoe's not it. That definitely helps me establish the fact that I'm not with it with the Bookers. All right, guys. That's it for the Bookers comparison. Let's put that aside. I'll finish my my Kentucky Chew sample at the end of the stream. But I want to stay sober enough to keep going here, you know. All right, we got 30 in the chat. We have 34 likes. That's a great ratio. But if you haven't liked this video, please like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's keep going here. James says, I'll now know what to look for on the Bookers. Cheers. Yeah, I think like the thing for Bookers, if you're gonna have a batch that differentiates itself. When I did those 9 batches, when I tasted those in that blind, what differentiated it for me was something that was fruit forward. Like Taylor said, Kentucky Chew is fruit forward. When you get a batch that's not covered in peanuts and or baking spice, that's a unique batch and something you should go towards, in my opinion. Other people like the peanuts, they like the baking spice thing, and that's totally understandable. But you can find that in a lot of other whiskeys, and you don't need to pay $90 for those whiskeys. Go to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's more well-rounded. It's cheaper. Even Larceny Barrel Proof, if you want the peanuts and the oak, go to the Larceny Barrel Proof for $50 or $60, and there you go. You don't need to pay 3 halves the cost on a Booker's. You know what I mean? So for me, it's the fruit-forward batches and the balanced batches that differentiate themselves. And at this point, it is clear that it's clear that the stocks are getting worse. The bourbon boom is causing people to start pulling barrels they shouldn't be using for certain batches and for certain products that should go to lower end products, and they have to use these. The quality overall is diminishing, and the price is continuing to go up. It's going to be interesting over the next 5 to 10 years to see how this shapes up. Because I was talking to my buddy Frank last night. I mentioned earlier in the stream I was hanging out and drinking some bourbon. And when you have bottles from 5 years ago, not 25 years ago, those aren't good comparisons, because 25 years ago to now, you're going to get old bottle effect. You're going to get dusty funk on these. And to separate the dusty funk from the actual base flavor of the bourbon that you're tasting, it's not impossible, but it's challenging. And the dusty funk makes you a little nostalgic. It makes you really enjoy that pour. I love my dusty granddads and Wellers and all that stuff from 80s until now. I love that. But when you have an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof from 2016, 5 years ago, and the quality is far and away superior to today's stuff, same 12-year age statement, clearly something has changed in the production. Clearly. You know, or the barrels that they're pulling are just not up to the quality. And it's sad, but 5 years ago, you don't accumulate a lot of that dusty funk on these bottles like you do from 25 years ago. So to differentiate the whiskey from the old bottle effect is much easier, and it's just better products. So, sorry, I ranted. But whiskey is not what it used to be, even 5 years ago. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to level itself out with expansions of like Buffalo Trace is expanding. A lot of these distilleries are expanding. But I just hope that the quality and the ingredients going into this are going to improve again, because right now it's clear that we're just using subpar stuff. Anyways, Bourbon Claws, I'm signing off for dinner. Make sure to tell everyone Ohio is the Weller capital of the world. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm going to get back out there and start hunting again and sending people Weller Antique at cost, because people love that stuff. I don't love it, but I'm happy to snag one at $50 and send it to a couple of people now and again. So Lito says, I know it's hard to tell and conjecture, but I truly believe, I absolutely agree with you, Lito. And what has helped me evaluate quality of barrels is Scotch, sherried Scotch. It is so easy to be able to tell what is a good barrel and what is not. And it's better to evaluate that on single cask expressions, right? But even small batch products, for instance, the Glendronach 18, the distillery shut down from 96 to 2001. And for those of you who are on here right now that don't drink Scotch or don't know anything about Glendronach, the distillery shut down. So the 18-year expression for a certain amount of years is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 years old, and then it resets to 18 because they were not distilling for a period of 5 years. So the expression got older and older because they were using barrels that had been distilled back in 1996. All right? So what does that mean? Well, for me, I have a 2017 release of Glendronach 18. And a 2017 release is 22 years old. I have a 2019 release of it. That's 24 years old. And then in 2020, it resets to being 18. The 22-year-old expression I have is deeper and richer in flavor, 22 years old, than the 24-year-old expression. And the only reason for that is the casking. In my opinion, you can taste the quality of the sherry casks used on the 22-year-old version versus the 24-year-old version. The 24 has a lot of complexity and all that, but the 22 is just far and away deeper and darker on the flavor end of things. You have to attribute that to the casking. And in bourbon land, it's a little bit harder, I think, in some ways to kind of evaluate this. But when you put a 2016 next to a 2020 Elijah Craig barrel proof and you taste it, it's got to be the casks. Plain and simple. Again, I'm ranting. I'm so sorry. Taylor, I don't know if we'll see the quality go up for a while. Probably another 5 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Joel says, haven't found Weller Antique in North Carolina. Ohio, here I come. I'm going to go out and snag some of these for people. I'm going to grab like 6 to 10 of these, and I'm just going to start sending them out at cost. As long as people pay for shipping and pay for the bottle, I'm happy to do that. I need to get back out there and make it happen, because I know a lot of people want the antique. And I've been able to buy it by the case here, honestly. So, okay. Enough ranting. I'm so sorry. Lito, what do you think, man? I've got, like I said, the Dewar's 27, the Redbreast 21. The Port Charlotte will have to end the day if we actually try that. I might save that for a different day to do it with some other Isla Scotches. Redbreast, Dewar's, Balconis Rum. And then all of this is from Keith Schmidt. So, Lito, let me know what you think. But I definitely agree with you on the thing about the quality of the barrels. It's got to be a huge part of what's going on. 41 likes. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Still got 30 in the chat. That's awesome. Jay says you got to do Japanese after the ninja reference. The Japanese is... it's clear. I mean, this is new make, heavily peated Japanese. James says, only the 21 Parliament Glendro, still with the age discrepancy from this year on, FYI. Yeah, I think that's going to get up to, 27 years before it resets to 21. I have a 24-year-old. You can see it back here where my thumb is. That gold tube is the Parliament, the 21-year-old Glendronach. Mine is a 2017 bottling, which I believe is 24 years old. And when you put that next to the 24-year-old 18-year, the Allardyce, it's very interesting. I prefer the Allardyce over the Parliament. I think the Allardyce, I don't know, more dark chocolate. The Parliament gets a little too earthy for me, for whatever reason. but it makes no sense that it would be more earthy because it's PX sherry and Oloroso. The PX should sweeten it more, not make it more earthy. So it's confusing for me, huh? Lito says, I think it'll be fun to do the Balconis Rum. Okay, let's do that. Lito, 2022 is the last year before it goes down to the youngest being 21. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Bourbon, do you have the Parliament Funkadelic? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what that means. All right, Balconis Texas Rum. Lito, does this say aged 40 months? Is that what it says on the label? Either way, it's a store pick, 64% rum. Now, I had a Foursquare rum, two different Foursquare rums, I think, something like that, on a stream with Trev Wilson. Amy Bohm sent us a blind flight, and it ended with these rums that were just like, I wasn't a big fan of them, honestly. The Foursquare tasted just weird. It tasted like hose water you get off your hose outside. The finish was all like chlorinated hose water. But let's see how this Balconis rum does. This 64%. I've never even heard of rum being this high proof. 40 months. Okay. And that's not a long time for rum, I don't think. But if it's a Texas rum, I'm sure it ages pretty quickly. I don't know. I don't know how all this works. I know sometimes they add sugar to rum. Whoa. Whoa, man. What? That is crazy. So guys, Taylor, as many of you know, I'm a percussionist. If you tune into the channel often, I'm a percussionist slash drummer, right? And I do like the orchestral thing. I play xylophone and all that kind of stuff, and also play drum set. But Taylor is someone from my side of things. He's a percussionist who is also a whiskey nerd like me. And Taylor and I got to know each other through both things, really. But we started really talking about bourbon 6 months ago or something like that. And he's playing some exercises and some ragtime stuff, which is like xylophone stuff, right? Like old school 1920 xylophone. And he's saying he sampled too much to continue playing. I know that struggle. I'm telling you. Rum can get pretty funky. How can you not know George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic? I don't know. I'll look it up. I'm so sorry. I do have homework. Yeah, no, he's going to continue sampling because at this point, there's no way he's going to keep playing the xylophone. No sugar added or color after distillation. That's awesome. Okay. I mean, it's funny because I don't have the words to describe this, right? When you go from Scotch to bourbon, the jargon completely changes from toffee to caramel, from Christmas cake to raisins or baking spice. Like the jargon changes between the different spirits and the different reviewers, and a lot of that has to do with the country that they're made in and what that vernacular is in that particular country. And for rum, it's like I know what I'm smelling, but I can't describe it. It's like it's really sweet, but it also has these interesting characteristics that relate to bourbon quite a bit. Very alcohol. I mean, at 64%, it is extremely alcohol forward. For instance, it has characteristics of a 2015 bottling of Weller 12 that I have, and it also has characteristics of Armagnac, a Delord 25, in relation to some of the clove spice and some of the sweetness that I get from that Armagnac. So, but I just don't know quite how to describe this. All right, let's sip it. Ooh. Wow. 40-month, 64% rum. I get a little bit of what I got in the Foursquare that I've tried before in terms of a slight rubbery quality and a slight chlorinated water quality, but it's nothing to the degree of the Foursquare. It was almost like the Foursquare was cut down to proof with really shitty water. And And this has a tiny bit of that, but it's not off-putting. It's not enough to be bad. It's just enough to be noticeable. Jay says vernacular. Oh my God, more big words. That's hilarious. Yeah, yeah, you got to keep sampling. I mean, at this point, if I've had too much to drink and I go down and I try to practice, like right now, I'm relearning Sorcerer's Apprentice excerpts and Magic Flute and a couple of other things because I have to do some product demos for Malatech. And yeah, I'm not going to be doing that after this. I'm going to have no capacity in my brain left. Wow, Lito, what are some of the notes you get on this, man? Because I have so many thoughts spinning in my head, but I can't describe them. So many of them relate to brown sugar type notes, just these sweet kind of things. Also with this interesting chlorinated water type sensation I'm getting. There's some spice in there, but I can't quite characterize it. Joel says, gotta sign off. Absolutely. But it was fun. Thanks for a good show today. I have to finish a home project before. Oh, yeah. I know how that goes, huh? Pushing for 1K subs and 4K watch hours. Good luck. Thank you so much, Joel. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it was a fun little thing when Matt came on and all that. It was a good time. So I appreciate you being here, man. Yeah, earplugs all day with those. Use your small words or start putting the pinky out. There we go. So I proof this down a little bit, Lito. I like it better at a lower proof. Oh. Oh, I just got I just got some sort of spice flavor. Is it a ton of nutmeg in here? It might be just like a ton of nutmeg. Yeah, nutmeg and brown sugar. That's kind of what I'm getting here, along with like these really sweet cane sugar notes. Still a nice alcohol punch. Still a slight, I mean, it's almost got this sherry cask rubberiness to it for some reason. But much more pleasant at this lower proof. Still, with how much water I put in it, there's still an alcohol punch. And it could just be the youth, at 40 months. All right. Lito, this is super cool. This is a super cool sample. I cannot tell you. I appreciate it so much. Wow. I don't know that rum is ever going to be my thing, but this is the best representation I've had of it, and it's the youngest also, for what that's worth. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could see if someone told me there was like some caramelized orange, you know what I mean? Or like burnt orange in here. I could see it after I've proofed it down. Because I'm thinking, like, is there some fruit going on in here? That would be the only one I could really kind of pinpoint with those spice notes and sugary notes and those off-putting sort of industrial water notes. So, enjoy sending you some outliers, getting your take. Yeah, totally, man. Totally. I'm gonna probably do some quick sips videos on a lot of the samples you sent me. I've been really enjoying doing like uncut 8 to 10 minute videos on samples. First time going through them and getting just a first impression. So I'm sure the Redbreast will pop up there in the Dewar's 27. I'm sure those will also pop up there. Oof, I got the bourbon belches. That's gross. Lone Wanderer likes Kali Kai rum, and the Hilton Head Spice rum is good. I wish they were both higher proof. Interesting. Yeah. I used to drink rum and Coke when I was like 18, when I first got to college my freshman year. But that's like my only rum experience was rum and Coke. I also have this hilarious picture of me just totally vertical on a bottle of Malibu. And that was from a very rough night when I was marching Blue Devils, which is a drum corps when I was living in California. So anyways, that exists. Okay, Let's do one or two more and let's call it a day. It's 4:20, 4:19 p.m. It's not 4:20 for those of you who, do that kind of thing. I don't do that kind of thing, but I absolutely respect it. Anyways, 4:19 p.m. We've been on here for 80 minutes. Thank you all so much for hanging out so far. I appreciate it. I'm sure all of you that are on here, the 25 of you, have liked and subscribed. But if you have not, please, do the thing. Let's see. Bourbon Neophyte says, Cameron, the Booker's behind you. What batch is that? This is Donohoe's batch, the first one of 2021. And we were drinking this earlier on in the stream. That's the video that I put out a couple of weeks ago. And the conclusion after today is that it's not that great, unfortunately. The first impression was better. Now that it's got some air in the bottle, it's just fallen flat. Chris says, what's better in your opinion? 1792 bottled and bond or full proof? I have store picks of both, and I'm shocked I've been preferring the bottle and bond. Yeah, if it, this is interesting. The foolproof shelfer, I hate. I think it is just ethanol and like just banana, and it's just not great. I have two different foolproof store picks, and one is just so far and away better than the other, and then even further away and better than the shelfer, that it's kind of incredible, actually. The bottled and bond, I only have the shelfer version of, but I think that it's it's the best balance of the 1792 profile between the small. I have all of the expressions besides like the port finish and like the 225th. I have all the other like 1792 stuff. Bottled and bond is the most balanced. If you're going to go with a foolproof, you have to get an incredible store pick. I have a store pick from Pinky's. I got it on secondary for a very cheap price, but apparently they do great picks. It's from May 2019, and this thing is incredible. So, bottled and bond, unless you have a great foolproof store pick. That's what I'm going to say. Don Q Oak Barrel Spiced is Christmas in a glass. Christmas, and now that you say Christmas in a glass, and I think you're talking about rum, I would assume. Are we talking clove spice? Because that last one, the rums that I've had, I feel like have a good bit of clove spice, which reminds me of when you're saying that, I can connect the dots with Christmas. Caribou Lou's fueled many. That's funny. That's what I was thinking it was. Yeah, I love, and honestly, the baby blue label, I've got to say, it's a great color for the label. Some of the duller labels of the last couple of years, it doesn't pop. I wish like the brightly colored label on this really works, just from a purely marketing standpoint, Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I still can't get over this funky water taste in all of the rums that I've had. It just tastes like crappy hose water from your backyard. So I don't know. I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry about that. Okay, where are we going next? Let's see. So Lido, I might divert from your samples now, and I might head over to a sample from Keith Schmidt. Um, I don't know if I'm in the mood to break into Scotch now. I think I'm gonna save the. No, the video said Scotch. The thumbnail said I gotta have a Scotch. I've got to do that. So let's get into a Scotch here. Let's see. We'll do these two and we'll call it a day. So there's a Taiwanese Scotch distillery called Cavalon. And Cavalon makes, I mean, all of their stuff is expensive. The low end stuff, this is like the lower end. It's not the Soliste. I believe that's how you say it. The Soliste stuff is crazy expensive, and it gets even crazier as you just continue to go up the ladder. This is like, I think, the standard offerings, the ex-bourbon and the sherry oak. So I'm going to taste these right now and see what we get. I've never had any Taiwanese whiskey before. I've had Indian whiskey from Amrut or Amrut. I love that stuff. It's incredible. So I'm going to be curious to see these last two pours. We're going to start with the ex-bourbon, then go to the sherry oak and see how this Cavalon goes, and then we're going to call it a day. So Bourbon Neophyte says, I got to try the Old Forester single barrel yesterday and was not impressed. It's a 90 proof single barrel, but it seemed like it was a high rye. That sounds very off profile for Old Forester with the high rye component. One thing I wish Old Forester would do is put out a and I think they are doing this. I think I saw a TTB label for this on a group. If they would do an Old Forester barrel strength rye, single barrel, that would probably be my favorite Old Forester product. I can only imagine. Panama rum sample. I was like licking an old outdoor sink. Yeah. What? Why is that? Is it the water that they use in this rum when they? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I would love to find out more about rum and the process to figure out why it might taste that way. All right, so we're gonna pull out the old stemmed Scotch glasses now because I find that these smaller glasses do a little bit better with Scotch, especially lower proof Scotch. These are both 96 proof samples, so 48% ABV. Sherry oak is going in the glass. And the ex-bourbon is going in the glass. There we go. So you can already tell which is which here. Well, yeah, it's pretty obvious. So we got the ex-bourbon over here. Sherry oak is definitely a little bit darker. First experience with Taiwanese single malt whiskey. They also allow you to stick your pinky out better. Yes, they do. 85 subs. I've got a couple more subs in the stream. That's great. Yeah, I think with the videos that I'm going to be releasing over the next few days, I think the sub count is going to go up. Because it's a little bit clickbaity. It's going to probably attract a little bit of a different audience, and I'm hoping that's the case. You know, I've got to start to get into that a little more at this point, because I've never really gone into the realm of clickbait. And I'm going to probably do that every, 2 weeks or so. So this is the ex-bourbon cask we're going to start with. Oh yeah, just a great maltiness going on here. Really nice honey notes. Some floral quality to this, reminiscent of a Glenmorangie profile. Ooh, this is nice. This is very pleasant. Yeah, it's got that honey quality you might get on like a Dalwhinnie 15 or like an Oban 14 if you separate the peat from that. That type of honey, heather honey. Yep, with these tropical Glenmorangie type fruits. A really great dose of vanilla on the top of this. Kind of like that Glen Grant 18 vanilla. I like to relate other scotches to things I'm tasting, right? It provides maybe points of reference for people. Yeah, vanilla, sort of dark honey, tropical fruits, nice and sweet. Let's check it out on the palate. There's a little bit of spice on the nose, but I can't quite pinpoint it. It's just kind of like oak spice that you get on a scotch. It's not definitively, cinnamon or whatever that you might get on a bourbon. Wow. Right away, that kind of attacks your palate. A lot of scotches, like pure, like legit scotch from Scotland, right? A lot of that stuff, when it hits your palate, it's been chill filtered, it's been colored, all of that kind of stuff. And when it hits you at the low proof, it just sort of like, it just happens. Does that make sense? It doesn't attack, it doesn't develop. It just hits your palate. It's there, it tastes good, and it goes away. This Cavallon hits you immediately. It's like it goes to work, and I like this a lot. Wow. Come back to the nose, I get a little bit more sharp, sour quality, like a little bit of green apple sharpness on the nose. Something, again, sharp spice on the nose, too. Wow, this is different. It's very different. Like the Amrut from India had more of like a sweeter profile to it, more laid back, but just envelopingly sweet. Other scotches similar to this might be, again, less eventful, and this one is more sharp. So that's a pretty cool dichotomy here. Man, that's really good. A little bit astringent, a little bit young on the Cavallon. I think this is their lower end offering, if I'm not mistaken. Nice bit of oak on the back end. That sort of lighter oak that you would get from an ex-bourbon barrel. Just a teeny bit drying. Wow, man, it's so cool what these different regions are doing, and how where they age it, the barley that they're using, like how all of that affects the final product. I've got to say this is really great. Yeah, not sure about coloring and chill filtration on this. To me, it does not seem like it's chill filtered, but I don't know. Could be. That's great. Let's go on to the sherry oak. Let me check the chat. Jay says, "Is that a Copita glass?" No. So these are. I do have some Copita glasses back there. I like these better. These are called. They're Italian. It's called Luigi Bormioli. I'll put that in the chat here. Let me just post it in here. Let's see. Luigi Bormioli. I think it's sent. There we go. So the glass that I just put in the chat, that's what it is. I got these on Amazon. I think it's a set of 6 of these glasses. It's not cheap. It's like 55 or 60 per glass. That's not bad, but you can't order them individually. These are excellent, excellent glasses for lower proof spirits or for Scotch. I don't like them for bourbon because it gets too alcohol forward because it is a smaller volume. I think it's 5.75 ounces or something in here. So, Richie Z running. Oh, we're hanging out with Bourbon Neophyte there. Did you drink a bunch of bourbon before trying the rums? I just cracked that Panama rum, and the weird sink note isn't really there. Yeah, I mean, I was just drinking. In all of the instances that I've had rum, they were preceded by bourbon, so that could be a factor. Still, I don't know. Bev says, for those who are having problems with not being notified by YouTube, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit the notification bell and hit all. That should take care of your issues. Thank you, Bev, for saying that. That's awesome. So for all of you here, maybe quickly do that. Just unsubscribe, resubscribe, and then hit the bell and go to all. See if that fixes the issues, especially those of you who are not getting notified. That would be awesome. They look like I would break the shit out of them. That's hilarious. I put these in the dishwasher on the top rack. I have not had an issue yet, but sometimes I hand wash them, and when I do, sometimes I squeeze on my left hand when I'm washing them, and I've definitely done that with a wine glass and just snapped the stem in half, so I got to be careful with these things. Taylor says, does the Glenmorangie cake hold up? I know you said on the review it was getting a slight sour note. Okay. Taylor, I'm going to pour that in just a second. I don't think it holds up, but I haven't had it in 3 months, so I will give that a go. Yeah, Bev Porter, thank you so much for calling that out. That's a great piece of info. Okay, let's go to the sherry oak very quickly on the Cavallon. Ooh, oh, a little rubbery. Oh, wow, huh? The bourbon's delicious. The ex-bourbon, the sherry's got a little bit of that sherry rubber sulfur type note. But this, man, the amount of dark chocolate on this sherry finish is like reminiscent of a Glendronach 18. Those 18s have an incredible amount of dark chocolate in there. This has that, and I do not think this is 18 years old. But it's a slightly younger version of that. It's more aggressive and rubbery and out of balance. It's like it hasn't quite mellowed out yet. Let's try it. Ooh. Jay, that's the one. The Vinotech. That's the glass. Yeah, for Scotch and for Armagnac, Cognac, lower proof bourbon, this is the one. I love this glass so much. The bottom of the glass is a little bit, like the circumference of the bottom, it's pretty big, but I don't mind it. I think it's great. And the stem is small. A lot of these stems are really clunky on these glasses. I like the way this is shaped. It's pretty great. And it maintains the same shape as the glasses I use on the short stems with that bulb at the bottom. It's more reminiscent of that than it is a Glencairn, so I like it. Yeah, this sherry is interesting. Mm. It's a very sweet sherry. It does still have that rubbery component. All the Christmas spice you would expect from sherry, the dried raisins, the plums, the figs, they're all there, but it's sweet. It's not entirely drying. I use the Highland glass for my Scotch is Irish. I love as a general glass for everything. That's the one I go to 100% of the time. This is only for low proof. If I put an Aberlour Abuna or Abanat or however you say that, if I put like a cask strength sherried Scotch in here, it would not work because it would just get too alcoholic on the nose, too aggressive. All right, so I'm going to go back and forth now between the sherry. Again, this is all Christmas spice. This is great dark chocolate notes in here. Slight rubber, all that. Let's go back and forth with the ex-bourbon. Oh, the ex-bourbon is just gorgeous. It's just so sweet. It's just gorgeous. I sound ridiculous. They're both really good. And you know what that means? It means we have to blend them. Let's see what happens. So this is now Cavalon double cask, sherry oak and ex-bourbon. Okay. It's got the best of both worlds on the nose at least. Hayden says ruined. That's hilarious. Okay. I'm just going to say it. If you blend half Cavalon ex bourbon and half Cavalon ex sherry, that's the way to go. This is incredible. It's the best of both of them. It rounds out the sort of rubbery and low quality components of the sherry casks. It takes the sweetness is a little too much on the ex bourbon, and that dries out a bit with the sherry being blended in. That is freaking awesome. So if you ever have the chance to try a 50-50 blend of those two Cavalon expressions, that's the way to do it. I have a Macallan 12 double oak. I do not like it. The Macallan 12 sherry is fine. Macallan 12 double oak, not good. This is the best version of a double oaked expression homemade blend that I've ever had. Even the Balvenie double wood doesn't compare to this, far and away. So, oh, that's great. That's seriously great. Okay, Taylor, I'm gonna pour that Glenmorangie cake, and then I'm gonna get the heck out of here so I can keep editing videos today. Whoops. Okay. Okay. So again, I probably have not opened this in 2 to 3 months, I would say. Good. Got to make sure I don't break the cork off. And we are down to about half the bottle, or maybe just above half the bottle left. So it's had quite a bit of time to open up, to sit in the bottle, to oxidize. And what Taylor and I were talking about is that a lot of these Glenmorangie expressions, they tend to get a little bit sour on the finish. They almost turn, it feels like to me. They don't hold up well to being in the bottle for a long time and having a lot of air in the bottle. And in most cases, the bourbon or the scotches that do hold up well are sherried scotches. Those for me tend to mellow out, to integrate very well, and just get better balance. As they sit in the bottle. Isla or peated scotches tend to lose their peat component and sweeten up. I like that. A lot of people don't like that. And then when you get stuff like this, which is generally or entirely ex bourbon casks or a mix of ex bourbon and first fill American oak, those tend to turn a little bit faster because they don't quite have the, I don't know what it is scientifically, but for me, it's like they don't quite have the integrity to hold up to that oxygenation. So let's try this out. Get another one of these fancy schmancy glasses and go from here. I will say, the Glenmorangie cake, when I first got it, I loved this bottle. So let's see if that holds true. Sarah and I absolutely love the Glenmorangie cake, and I love the marketing on it. Some people hate it. I think it's great. Thank you so much, Richie. Yeah, Taylor. Heck yeah. Let's do it. Does it actually taste like cake? It does, for a fat. That's hilarious. Yeah, it does. It tastes like a pineapple upside down cake, which is the cake that they reference in the marketing. It's kind of hilarious how much it tastes like it. Yep, it's for that cake in the UK, it was equivalent to 103, 99 before tax. Yeah, the MSRP should be $100 American, $100 US. That's what I paid for it. All of the Glenmorangie special releases are $100 here, and that's what they should be. So I think that's what I paid for this. It should 150. Absolutely, do not buy it. Do not buy it. I will find one here and ship it to you cheaper than that. Colin, what's up? Hey, I got your email. I'm sorry I haven't responded yet, but I cannot wait to get the lineage and to check that to blah 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 to check that out. I cannot speak. Promise I'm more sober than I sound. Limited release, so you might not see it soon. Yeah, I think it has stuck around Ohio better than I would have expected. The Alta is still here in droves, and I love the Alta. So we're going to have to get another one of those. All right, so here we go. Let's check this out. Glenmorangie Tale of Cake, 46% ABV. I've got to give them credit for going to 46 instead of the 43 that a lot of things are. But let's see. It is non-chill filtered. That's awesome. I have to assume, though, they have added some caramel coloring to this because it does not say uncolored. At least on the bottle. Let me check the presentation box quickly. No, it's probably colored. All right. No, you're good. You're good. A lot of people are missing the notification. Bev Porter above in the chat somewhere mentioned unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit the bell notification, and hit all again. And then that should fix the YouTube notifications. Apparently, people have been having issues with that, it seems like. Yeah, that's why it's still available. That's not a terrible price. At 110, I would still go. 125, that's kind of tough, you know. Oh my God, the white on the nose, the white cake notes are just incredible. Yeah. You get white cake, you get the traditional Glenmorangie tropical fruit, which is like that pineapple note, that slight green apple note, but here it's really pineapple. Very just sugary sweet. And I could see again a little bit of that light cherry going on in here. But the most prevalent note is just white cake. It's so sweet and so desserty and delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and taste it on the palate here. Oh my God, the vanilla. All right, let's get to the finish. This is the important part. Yeah, Taylor. It sours up on the finish. 15 to 20% more than I would want it to. But here's the thing. I like scotches that have a sweet and sour dichotomy to them. Aberlour is a great example of that. In particular, the 18 year has like some great black tea notes. It's a combination of the sherry and bourbon finish scotch blended in there, and it does alternate between sweet and sour. But sometimes in the finish, it tastes like it's turned, as food would turn. And for this one, because it does resemble that pineapple upside down cake thing, it has those characteristics: the white cake, the vanilla, the pineapple, the light cherry notes, all of that, the confectionery sweetness. It's in line. And I guess you would expect some sourness to come from a pineapple upside down cake because of the pineapple. But this has just a little bit too much on the finish. And the other one that did this was the Cadboll Estate, the 15 year that they just released last year. The Cadboll Estate also had like it was like buttercream and vanilla, and then after a couple of months it became sour in the finish. That one made less sense because it was vanilla buttercream. Why would that be sour? This, as a pineapple upside down cake, makes sense. If you enjoy the sourness, then you're gonna dig this. But for me, it's like, okay, if you get the bottle down a third of the way, down to halfway, you need to just drink it fast, unless you want that extra level of sourness. So that's what I would say about this. But damn, this is such a good scotch. The marketing is crazy and it's colorful. I think that's just going to be good for people to kind of try something new and to get into scotch, you know? And if they've had a couple of scotches before this, their palate has developed a little bit. They're going to be able to understand the notes that you call out if you just say vanilla, sweet, tropical fruit, and then maybe you go a little deeper and say, what about pineapple? Or you say, what about white cake? Anybody that's sort of a beginner is going to be able to pick those notes out, and this is a great way to introduce them with something called cake, and the story behind it, all the words on the card box that describe all of the marketing behind it. It's a great way to introduce people to scotch. Yeah, Cadboll should be $85 MSRP. And that's another one. That's one that, in my mind, as soon as it gets a third, like if you buy it, drink it. You open it, have it every night for 25 days, have an ounce every night for 25 days, and get rid of that thing. Otherwise, it's going to turn very fast on you, and it just gets really tannic and drying in the finish and sour. I mean, so Taylor, what is your experience with Glenmorangie to this point? Like, have you had the 10 year? Have you had the Quinta Ruban? Have you had the Nectar d'Or? Or would this be your first Glenmorangie? That's an essential question, I think. If I were you, I would, for the price of the cake, if you have never had Scotch or never had Glenmorangie, I would buy the 10 year and I would buy the Quinta Ruban. And then if you really like those, the Quinta Ruban is port finished, so that's different. It's darker, drier. Really great Scotch in my opinion. If you like those, then you can go here. You know what I mean? And this is more like the Glenmorangie 10, just a sweeter and more, I don't know, well-rounded and diverse version of the Glenmorangie 10, I think. Okay. Look, if you like the 10, this is a better version. The Nectar d'Or, people will try to sell you on. It's a Sauterne wine cask finish. It's negligible for me, the difference between the 10 to the Nectar d'Or. I would upgrade to the cake. Not the Cadboll Estate, the 15. No, go to this one. Richie says the Campanta finish, an X1 cask. So Campanta has been out of Ohio for a long time at this point. I've never seen one. I don't even think I've seen them out of state when I've gone hunting. But if you have a lead on one, Richie, I would happily talk to you about that, trying to get one shipped up here if you can find one. But I don't remember what year that's from, what special edition release it is. I would love to try it, though, Yeah, they're all good. The La Santa, for me, I think the Glenmorangie distillery profile doesn't do well with sherry as compared to other distilleries. You know, Glendronach, Tamdu. I mean, shoot, what? I'm trying to think of some other like mainstay things that aren't peated. You know, that goes. Oh, Glenfarclas. Like, I think a lot of these distilleries really mingle well with sherry from their distillery character. Glenmorangie for me tends to go towards that sweet cake component, vanilla, tropical fruit, and the La Santa is like a departure from all of that. So for me, it's not my thing, but people like it, and I completely understand why they do like it. It's just not for me. I'm sneezy today. I think it's allergies. I think the springtime bloom is happening right now. Colin says Nectar d'Or was much better when it carried the 12-year age statement. Worth keeping an eye out. Yeah, we still have a lot of those in Ohio, and in a lot of states, the Nectar d'Or goes between 65 and $80, which is crazy. We get it for MSRP because we're a control state. I feel like I can get the 12-year-old Nectar d'Or for $50 here. So maybe I need to get one of those. Yes, Quinta Ruban tops all of them. In my opinion, that is like an everyday scotch. For $50, you cannot beat that bottle. Amazing. I don't have a lead, but keep looking for another. It's from maybe 6 years ago. Wow, yeah. So that's Campanta, you said, I think. Yeah, Campanta finished. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that then. Oh, that's interesting. Vanilla liqueur. I'm telling you, I'm sneezing up a storm. Thank you, Richie. Okay, back to the cake. So good. You know what, Taylor? Buy the freaking cake. I know FOMO. I get it. Buy the freaking cake. This is a good pour. It's damn good. If you want, I can send you a sample, but honestly, I would buy this, especially if you're running low, down there. In Ohio, like I've seen it. I think it will go away in the next couple of months. So I might have to snag another one before it does. But if you are running low down there in your local stores, you got to snag one. Okay, let's see here. Oh my god, it's 4:50. I've done this for almost 2 hours. Thank you guys for hanging around. Holy cow. Bubble Bath Bourbon says Total Wine or Bevmo, or I've even seen them at Target, the little 4-pack sampler. Yeah, I love that 4-pack sampler. I do a lot of like when I recommend tastings for people and like you know to lead tastings with friends and stuff. That's the 4-pack I tend to go to. 50 is really good for with the 12-year. If I see it here, it's easily over 75. I'm not a huge fan of Glenmorangie on the whole though, so I tend to avoid. Yeah. Yeah, if you can find it for 50 still, the old Nectar d'Or, that's an amazing deal. And it was 50 here. It jumped up to like 65. State pricing fluctuates a lot. And then it bumped back down, and I don't know where it's sitting right now. So I'll have to check in on that. Yeah, you got yeah. If it's going away, pick it up. It's good. Like now that I'm tasting it again, it's like, damn it, I forgot how much I like this stuff. I agree. I wish more distillers had some sample packs of their stuff. Okay, y'all. I don't want to keep you. I really appreciate your time on this Sunday afternoon, late afternoon into the evening. I've got to go edit some freaking videos. Got to clean up this room, get these glasses out of here, and get on with my day. More tipsy than I want it to be at 4:53 on a Sunday, but that's okay. I cannot say enough about how much I appreciate you all. Before we go, if you haven't liked the video, just click the button. Super easy. Like I said, I'm going to be dropping videos pretty much every day this week leading up to Thursday night's live stream. And hopefully at that point, I'll have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and the monetization will follow. If I hit all of that by Thursday, we're doing a big giveaway. It's going to be freaking awesome. So let's make it happen. Thank you all so much. It was an awesome hang today. Way longer than I thought it was going to be, but I had a really freaking awesome time. So I will see you all next time. Cheers from Drums and Drams. I'm going to finish up with the last bit of Booker's Kentucky Chew. Thank you, Lito, for the sample, and I'll see you guys soon. See ya.